Ooh, did I scare you? Let's try this one more time. Hi, my name is Rini. In the past, most people know me by Cosmic. Typically, on other platforms, I go by KFC or Chicken, but it's up to you for whatever you want to call me. Before I get into the rest of this video, I have to apologize for my mic quality. I don't actually have a mic. Like little tiny mic, but I have no idea where it is, so I'm just using a pair of earbuds, so that's why my quality is so bad. Moving on. Today I'll be drawing a thumbnail. Whoa, I know, it's so baffling. For this video, did I really make a thumbnail about a video of making a thumbnail? Yes, I did. This thumbnail is specifically made for a friend of mine. Embur, who actually has a YouTube channel on here, of course. That's why I made the thumbnail. You can go follow Embur right here. Go look up their name. I'll put their URL in the description below. Just please follow Embur. It's totally not sponsored. Now going to the actual speed paint. This took me a total of 14 hours to finish across 5 days, and throughout that process I had a lot of thoughts. This is the first time I have ever done a thumbnail for anyone, and I have a all or nothing mentality. Originally, I was not going to record this, but I was on call with Embur while sharing my screen. Embur seemed to enjoy watching, which made me start to think about how I used to post speed paints on my YouTube channel. I do actually post more frequently on my TikTok page and maybe even more on my Instagram compared to YouTube. So if you want better content, please go over there. Although I do post more frequently on TikTok, I wanted to ask you all, for those who have made it this far, if I should post that type of content I do on my TikTok all the way onto my YouTube channel. I am somewhat taking a break, but originally I do have a little series where I make Has-Been Hotel ponies and also make ponies into Has-Been Hotel characters. If I continue the series onto my YouTube channel while having it still on my TikTok, I will be making a compilation of my previous videos before continuing to do so. What I do know about my YouTube channel is I probably won't post often. At the moment, I'm a college student who is in a few passion projects working as an artist. But I also still draw a lot, so maybe people here would still like to see my drawings. Or maybe you want something different, like a draw my life or story time while watching the speed paint. If you're interested and have any suggestions, please let me know down in the comments below. If I have any money, I will be getting myself a proper microphone and a camera. Just not today. I am a very poor college student. To draw this, from what I learned about this game, in Wizard 101, the symbols mean certain elements, like this one means fire, this one means ice, and I'm pretty sure this one means plant magic. Probably. Looking back at the speed paint, you may have seen me tracing over the background image. For those who aren't frequent drawers or maybe are new beginner artists, tracing is okay as long as it's not someone's artwork or you give credit to the original artist. I really think tracing can be helpful to those who are just started and or are struggling in certain aspects. I enjoy drawing backgrounds. It's a skill I want to continue to grow since not all artists know how to draw backgrounds. Additionally, using this reference to trace over saved me a lot of time. Going back about tracing and references, every artist should use references. If someone has ever told you to never use a reference, they are wrong. How can you draw something if you aren't allowed to look at it? You won't really get better at drawing if you can't see what you are drawing. Even traditional artists typically use references to make their art. At this point into the speed paint, I am starting to render the background. The funny thing about this is that thumbnails shouldn't be too complicated because it's a thumbnail. It doesn't need that many details. About halfway through my process, I was starting to get nervous because I was worried I was focusing too much on the details instead of the overall picture. For an art piece to be good, it doesn't need all of these fancy textures and details, but what it needs to do is relate to the viewer's eye on what it's supposed to be. That was my biggest concern, that if I didn't put enough detail into each and every brick, then it wouldn't be perceived as a brick. It was also the same thing with the wood. I wanted the wood to look like wood, but what kind of wood? There are so many types and many kinds of finishes. I knew the setting of Wizard 101 is more in the medieval-like times, so I wanted to make the wood look more natural and not like it had some kind of finish to it. Looking back at it, however, I'm not sure if I gave that message with how I drew the wood, unfortunately. Now we are 6 minutes into the video and I have nothing else to say at the moment. So while I wait for a good part to pop in again, just enjoy the music and watch the speed paint. I'm back! Did you miss me? Oh, don't worry about answering. I know you didn't. Anywho, at this point in time, I am working on the banter on the wall in the back. This is one of my favorite parts because I get to draw a tree. Also, I lost track of the layers and ended up drawing on the multiplying layer and just didn't care. By now, I am finally finished with that wall and banter. It took me a surprisingly long amount of time. For the rest of the speed paint though, I decided to go in sections to make it easier for myself. At this point in time, I am working on the door. It was fun while also not being so fun. I did not enjoy trying to go back and forth to look at the background reference to try to find out what the hell I was supposed to draw. Luckily, though, the door did not take that long, so I started to work on more bricks in sections at the time. Soon I noticed that I had 2 window glasses to color, so I quickly did that as well before finishing the bricks in each of its respectful sections. Seeing how to make it look like it was coming through the window while also having that yellow color was surprisingly a big struggle for me. But I managed through it and added a lighter color to the black lines on the window to make it look like it had something reflecting onto it. On the bricks again, I started a mental game of how fast I can get these bricks done with using the least amount of time and effort. There are certain sections where I mostly shaded it black so I can avoid all my problems. Luckily though, it worked. I do not recommend doing this unless you actually know how shadows work and how they fall with light hitting objects at certain angles. something that I need to inform you all about, and I should mention it now before we get there. In about a minute, I should be showing you how I made 2 bookshelves and a sign, which was my favorite part to draw. But unfortunately, I can't because I made a terrible mistake. I have 2 monitors, and originally I was only recording on my laptop monitor. However, when I started using my big monitor, I forgot to switch up the connection to the other monitor on OBS to record my progress. So instead, here's a sped up clip of who I was watching at the time. The one and only Wick. You should watch him. He's fun and very entertaining. Again, I feel like I should say that this is not sponsored. Unfortunately, he's a great YouTuber, but he doesn't sponsor me. No one does. Anyways, I also need to know, is this technically stealing content? On another note, I am almost finished with all the wood, which I apparently did in the content I lost. And all the brick. Looks like I lost a great amount of footage of me doing the same thing over and over and over again. Maybe it's for the best that it's lost. Anywho, when I was done with all the bricks, woods, bookshelves, and my favorite part to draw, the sign, here is one of my least favorite parts, drawing the frame for the windows. It was actually terrible to try. Like, I tried a few times to get the window how I wanted it, but I just ended up giving up and decided to make it simple, which luckily it worked out. I didn't want to use the airbrush as much as I've been doing so far, but at this point, I'm a lost cause. After the struggle of the window frame, I decided to add more shadows to the banter because it didn't feel right to me. I wanted to get all of this out of the way before I started working on the floor, which I had been avoiding up to this point because I knew it was going to be a literal nightmare. There was this whole part of the floor that was partly a checkerboard style and a circular angle. Then there were so many circles I had to draw. Circle used to be my favorite shape, but I'm actually really rethinking it at this point. Before I finished the floor, it was getting late, so I decided to go to bed. Before doing so, I sent a picture to Embur about what I had so far. Embur mentioned that they needed the persona to be more in the green circle, so in the morning I went straight to work and moved all the layers to fit in frame while also having the persona look like they were in the circle. The only complication was I needed to color in the spots the persona was originally standing in. So I used my cheap tricks and mainly used my airbrush to once again make all the wood and brick look darker so I didn't have to do much detail. What made this convenient was it was supposed to be a corner so light wouldn't hit it as much anyways. After that, I went straight back to the floor so I could get this done. I also forgot to mention I added some texture to the floor by throwing a bunch of like sprinkles and like random texture brushes I found online to try to make it look like it had more texture to make it easier for me. Fortunately, it did work. You don't kind of see it until I put it on, which is, it happens a little bit there. You'll see in the future. Comes the biggest challenge that I have faced yet, which is making the checkered floor that was circular, and I was trying to avoid this whole time, but I knew I needed to get it done. I tried a couple ways, and then I just decided, you know what, I'm going to make it really easy on me, and just tool and just keep on going until it looks right. It made it so much easier, but when I was going straight across, I didn't use the line tool. I actually used my hand. It was quite annoying. And I did not use the bucket tool because I did not think of it. I just kept on going. I wanted to get it done because this right here, this was my enemy number one, was getting this checkerboard pattern down. But luckily I did it. another favorite part of mine is making reflections on the floor. So what I did was grab the pillars, just copy, paste, and then added some kind of fancy um, multiplying tool. I don't remember what I used, but I definitely changed the layer. After that came my probably fifth favorite part. It's really close to my fourth. I shouldn't be numbering my favorites, but it was making all the effects, all the magic. It's my favorite mainly because it adds more color to it. It doesn't look as dark. It shows a lot of contrast compared to the dark background. And also, I knew I was getting close to done, and it's been almost 5 days at this point. The effects, I was not really talking to anyone. I had my game face on, and I kept on drawing until I was finished, which only took me about another hour from now, since the whole thing took me about, I would say, 14 hours in total. Surprisingly, I did enjoy making the symbols, although I had a bit of struggle with the black one, which I'm assuming it means death or something. I don't know what the symbols mean, but I was trying to make it look like it was glowing, but how do you make black glow? Well, contrast. After that, I was just adding a bunch of random cool things that I thought would look nice, and after that, I finally got into the last part, which was coloring the persona. Lighting, you have to ask yourself, okay, where are my light sources? There are technically a bunch of them, like the windows, but the windows aren't really facing the persona, so I kind of just ignore those. The two big color sources I was focusing on was the candlelight in the back, which would hit the persona's like left side, well, her right, my left, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then of course the green, which is mostly on the right, but also all over the shoes. So once I got all the shading down, I did the light. I thought it would be best if I first start with the shading, then I do the lighting. I never really do lighting first. I don't know why, I'm just not really that kind of person, unless it's the candle. The candle is different. I really like doing the candle. And now I am done. Here is the original sketch to the final product. Working on it for a while. There's gonna be a lot of things you want to fix and you want to try to fix, but sometimes it's a good idea to just let it go. I have given this to Embur by now, and they love it. Of course, I'm the artist, and there's always something I want to fix on it. I am a huge perfectionist, which I need to work on as an artist because I can never move on from an art piece if I'm always just fixing it. Sometimes you just need to start over, and sometimes you just need to let it go. Guys enjoy this video. If you liked it, please like the video. If you want to watch more, please subscribe to me. I most likely won't be posting that much because I am surprisingly really busy. Now, if you like the video, please physically like the video. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. You don't have to. It's not a requirement, of course. And if you have a suggestion of what I should be doing with my channel, please let me know. Any constructive criticism I would love. I'm not the best with editing and I'm still working on it. It's fun, but it also takes a lot of my time. Like again, I will not be posting that often, unfortunately. I do a lot better with shorter videos on like TikTok, where I don't have to use my voice as much, because hearing it back over and over again and not having a mic is terrible, especially with all the background noises and all the cars flying back. It's not fun. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day.